Hello, Facebook. We are live for our Lunch and Learn today. I hope you guys are having a lovely June day. It's a gorgeous day here, and it has been for the past couple of days. So it's been nice and cool for this summer here in Utah, which has been really nice. So I'm Chrisella Herzog. I'm the CEO of Humble Hustle Studios, and we do these Lunch and Learns every Tuesday afternoon at noon Mountain Time so that small business owners and startup owners and founders have a chance to get some insight into some tips and tricks and things that are happening with social media and digital marketing so that you can take those back to your companies and really own your digital marketing. Because there's so much information out there. We're really here to just help you kind of cut through the noise. And we do it in these quick 20-25 minute lunch and learn videos on Facebook so that you have some time to eat your lunch and then get right back to work and get right back into implementing some of these tips that we give you. Great. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to not be everywhere in your social media marketing, in your digital marketing in general. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of small businesses make is that they get started with their business and they think they need to be everywhere. They set up, they think they need to be on Facebook, they need to be on Twitter, they need to be on Instagram, they need to do Snapchat, they need to do whatever the new thing is. And then what ends up happening is they get so completely overwhelmed that they don't even know how to handle any of their digital marketing and they give up. So I have seen I've seen so many small business owners completely give up with their digital marketing because they just get completely overwhelmed by everything that's out there. Where if they were just to narrow down their marketing a little bit to the audiences that are most important to them, they would have much more impact than they did if they were trying to market everywhere, and definitely more impact if they stopped marketing completely. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So first of all, I mentioned, or I started talking about this a little bit. Why should you narrow down your digital marketing? Well, like I said, you can get completely overwhelmed if you try to be everywhere. There are so many different social media platforms out there right now, and all of their algorithms are constantly changing. Facebook is changing, Instagram is changing. I have a workshop on that coming up, but those are just two of the platforms that we're talking about here. There's, Snapchat and WhatsApp and Messenger bots and Twitter and you can get completely overwhelmed if you try to be on all these platforms. So what I would suggest is that when you first get started, you should absolutely reserve the name of your business, reserve your handle on every social media platform you can think of. You're going to end up letting almost all of those sit there inactive. What you really want to do is narrow down your marketing, especially if you're just getting started in business. You really want to narrow that marketing down to one or two platforms and really go all in on those platforms. The second reason for this is, not only are you draining the time that you are putting into marketing if you try to be everywhere, you are also draining any potential ad spend that you might have. So you are starting to market, let's say you're an e-commerce business and you're starting to market your product and you decide to put a little bit of ad spend behind that to get more eyes on your product and get more people buying your product. Well, if you're marketing everywhere, where are you going to put that ad spend? You might try to split it up between all the different platforms that you have, but what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have so little in each platform that it's basically going to be ineffective. And so you end up having this issue where you are spreading not only your time too thin, but you're also spreading your ad budget too thin. You're not giving any of the platforms time to really understand who your audience is and really build up that audience in a way that is going to actually create meaningful growth in your business. And the third reason you need to narrow down your audience is simply you as a business owner cannot be something to everyone. You can't be on every platform because there's this impulse that, oh, everybody's going to want my product. Everybody's going to want to come buy this stuff from me. All I have to do is put it out there and everybody's going to want this. That's not true. It just isn't true. And that's heartbreaking for a lot of small business owners who are just getting started, but it's just not true. What you really have to do is narrow down who your audience is and really focus on marketing just to them. Who are the core people in your business that you really want to reach, or the core audience that you really want to reach in your business? Then focus on reaching those people. Once you reach those people and then you start to grow, you get a little bit of revenue for ads and that sort of thing, people will find you. They'll find you on other platforms. They'll find your website. They'll find your email list. People will find you. But you really have to focus on targeting that core audience first and growing from there. So let's talk about how you can focus down your social media efforts. I'm pulling out my little whiteboard here. All right, so if you're going to narrow down your marketing, like I said, you need to probably focus on 2 max social media platforms, and you really need to decide what those platforms are. So I'm currently working on some sort of a tool or quiz or something like that will help you. But in the meantime, let me kind of talk to you a little bit about what are some of the things you need to think about when you're deciding what platforms you're going to spend your time and your budget on. There's a lot that goes into this, and we're really just going to be scratching the surface of it today, but I want to kind of help you start thinking about what you're going to be doing with your business, where you want to focus your time and your efforts, because my goal is that you're not completely overwhelmed by your social media marketing, so you don't just give it all up thinking that it's all just useless. So we're going to start just by scratching the surface today, and if you want to dig in a little bit more for your business, then please, feel free to message me. Great. So first thing that you're going to start thinking about when you start narrowing down your marketing is you're first going to think about who is your audience. This is a deceptively simple question. Who is your target customer? Have you gone through the avatar exercises? Do you know what your customer is doing? Like when they wake up, what's the first thing they do in the morning? Do they meditate? Do they get a cup of coffee? Do they take their dog out for a walk? What are they, when they drive to work, what kind of car are they driving? How far do they drive? What do they listen to in the car? When they sit down at work, what are they worried about? What are the things that are stressing them out? Things like that. So you have to go through this whole process of figuring out who is your audience, who is your customer. And then start thinking, once you start building this picture of who your customer is in your head, start thinking about what social media platforms do they use. So if you're targeting a younger audience, probably under age like 35, 40, they might be on Instagram. If it's an older audience, say 50 or above, they are probably on Facebook. If your audience is clustered on like the coast, like the East Coast, and you're targeting like a very urban, an urban population that's very, that has like a high income or something like that, you might be looking more at Twitter or something like that. Somebody who really wants to be like in the know and want information very quickly. Or if you're and that's just if you're a B2C company. If you're just selling your products to consumers. If you're selling your products to another business and doing business-to-business marketing, B2B marketing, then your audience may not be on any of those platforms. They might be on LinkedIn instead. Now, there has been like some question over whether LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads are more effective at B2B converting, but that is a whole nother lunch and learn that we'll get into another day. But if you're going to be messaging somebody or targeting somebody based on what their job title is, you're probably going to want to look a little bit more at LinkedIn. things like that. So you really have to understand who is your audience. What do they do day to day? You know, if they're sitting down to scroll through their phone, what are they thinking about? What are they looking for? What's going on in their head or in the background when they actually get on your phone, or when they get on their phone to actually, you know, start marketing or I'm sorry, start engaging in social media. So that's the first thing that you need to do. The next thing you need to do is to understand your business. Understand your business. I put this because I see a lot of businesses that are doing B2B marketing, put up a Facebook page, put up an Instagram page, and then not really do much with it, because they start doing things with it and then it's not effective, and so they give up. And then they basically kind of stop marketing. They just stop. And they do it because they're like, oh, it wasn't effective, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to spend our time on it. We're going to go do something else. And okay, if that's how you want to run your business, but you know, you're giving up a lot of growth opportunities there, a lot of opportunities to get your what your company does out in front of people. And so this is, you have to understand like what your business offers, what the value is that your business can provide to people. And then once you start doing that, then you can start thinking about what is the best venue for communicating this value. So, for example, if you are a company that's doing like big projects for, for large businesses, things that take a long time to develop, you do like, let's say that you're doing like white label software or something like that. You're probably, you're talking about things that take a long time to develop. You're probably not going to want to advertise on Twitter, because when people are on Twitter, they want things quickly. They want snippets of information. If you have a product that takes a lot of customer education and nurturing of your audiences before they actually get to a purchase point, Twitter's not going to be a great place for you, because your message is just going to get completely lost. People who are on Twitter want something quickly, and they want like that nugget of information super fast before they move on to the next nugget of information, and your message will get lost on there. But if you work on, say, like a combination of a LinkedIn and a Facebook campaign, doing this nurturing process, then you're going to have more luck with actually getting your message to stick in the heads of your audience before they actually get to the purchase point. So really understand, like, what is it that your business offers, and what is the process for getting a customer there. If you don't have a marketing funnel set up, you really need to get a marketing funnel set up at this point, so you can understand what the journey is for your customer to come and actually purchase your product. So you really have to understand that before you can figure out like where to narrow down your marketing, what are going to be like the most appropriate venues for your marketing. And then finally, the third thing you need to know, but to narrow down your marketing, is to know your goals. Why are you doing social media marketing in the first place? Are you doing it just because you're supposed to? Because if that's what's happening, you're just wasting your time. If you're just doing something without knowing what your goals are, without understanding why every single post goes out, like what the purpose of that post is, you're wasting your time. So you need to have very clear-cut goals for what your marketing does, what your marketing purpose is online. So for example, if your goal with your marketing is for lead generation, great. That one will help you narrow down where you want to focus your customers, or where you want to focus on spending your time on marketing. For example, Instagram might not be the best for you. It might, depending, like if your audience is young and predominantly female, then Instagram for lead generation might work really well for you. And that's why all of these things work together and not just separately. But if you're targeting, for example, we're going to go back to small business idea. If you're targeting small business owners, or you're targeting, we'll say people who want to buy like a product that will help them in like outdoor hiking or something like that. You have to know what your goal is there. If you want your product to be like an e-commerce purchase, then posting a funny meme on your marketing, on your Facebook page or on your Instagram page is not going to do much for you. If your goal is that you're offering a service business and you want to keep your brand in top of mind for when people need something like, say, a haircut, then yeah, posting a funny meme is a great idea, because people are going to like that and interact it, and then it's going to pop up in other people's social media feeds, and people will remember, oh right, I need hair, or people will be like, oh, I need a haircut. Oh right, that place that posted that funny meme does haircuts. I'll go to them. So it depends on what your goals are there, and you really have to think through this process. And again, you really have to start building that marketing funnel so that you can understand what the process is that your customers are going through, what the psychology is of your customers is before they make a purchase. Go all the way back to how they first discover your business and walk through those steps. And again, if that's something that you're struggling with and you need help with, send us a message. We'd be happy to help you build out your marketing funnel, because it is something that a lot of small businesses struggle with, and they don't really think about they don't really think about their marketing in terms of a funnel and bringing people through this funnel. They just kind of, I see a lot of small businesses just kind of throw stuff out there and hope that something sticks. And that's a really inefficient way to do your marketing. And it's a really exhausting way to do your marketing. There are ways where you can really narrow this stuff down and make it more efficient and more targeted so that your marketing is more effective and you're spending less time doing your marketing, because nobody really wants to spend all day on social media platforms posting promotional stuff about their business, So try to think about ways where you can make this the most efficient. Target your audience that is at your absolute core, the people who are going to be the raving fans of your business. And then figure out how you can take them through these steps, from discovery to purchase, in the most efficient way. And if doing that is, means that you have to stop posting on a couple of social media platforms that you otherwise were investing a lot of time in previously, that's okay. It's okay to change up your marketing. Like, algorithms are changing all the time, and things, platforms change, and one gets better than the other. That's okay to do that. You don't have to feel like just because you have invested a lot of time in a platform that you have to keep investing time in that platform. Anyway, are there any questions about all of those thoughts today? While I'm waiting to see if there are any questions coming in, just a reminder that I am hosting a workshop tomorrow night on all of the changes that are coming to Facebook and Instagram. We talked a little bit about some of the changes coming to Instagram last week and how to include links on your Instagram in a more effective way for your business last week, but there's a whole lot more to discuss than that. And so if you are trying to figure out like how you can actually get ahead of the curve with your marketing on Facebook and Instagram, this is going to be a really great workshop, and so I hope you'll join us. If you cannot join in person at that workshop, then we also will have an option for a live streaming access. So, just send us a message and let us know for that if you would like that set up. All right, I'm not seeing any questions come in, so I'll be watching the comments in case there are any questions that come after this video. But thank you everyone for joining us today for this Lunch and Learn. It's been great talking to you about, narrowing down your digital marketing, and we will see you next Tuesday.